Good morning, Young Kings. Time for your morning motivation this morning, Saturday morning. Uh, just got up at 05 this morning and ran 7 miles. So, yeah, I did pick up the miles today. Wanted to go a little further today. Today's Self Love Saturday. So, I decided to get out and do a longer run. Kind of push the boundaries and push my body to see. Um, my body's been feeling pretty good doing that 3 miles. So, today's Saturday. I wanted to go a little further and did 7 miles this morning. Took me about an hour and 10 minutes to do it. So right about that 10-minute mile pace. So kind of back to where I was before the injury. So progress is definitely being made. Now it's time to grow on top of that. So and the reason I want to go a little further today is because today's my first counseling session slash anger management, response management um, classes. And I don't know how long I'm going to do it. I think I may do it for about a year because I really want to dive in deep and go see exactly um, how to navigate through this latter stage of my life more appropriately. So I'll be in there for a while. This is not a quick thing where I'm going to jump in and say, all right, now I understand things. Let me get out and just do it in my own way. Um, Nor is it mandated. No one told me to go here. This is not a result of some agreement in the court or anything. This is just purely self initiated, my growth and desire to get better. So I wanted to go a little further into my mind. So I figured today I wanted to get up and run because I wanted to get into my own head before I allowed somebody else into my thoughts and share them with other people. So did a lot of running this morning and just processing things. And there's a few things that I want to address on this video. This Arrested Development series that we're going through. We're on course. We're not off track. We're still tracking to our end state of greatness, MAGA, Make Andrew Great Again. We're still on course for that. But I've been receiving a lot of calls, a lot of texts, and people are saying, "Are you okay?" And I am. I mean, is my heart broke? Yeah, um, but I'm okay. And I liken it to this: I'm on a roller coaster in life right now. It's like there's a lot of ups and there's downs and there's ups and there's downs. So it's just happened to be on one of those down moments. But never forget, I never forget that I'm still at the fucking amusement park. Like a good day at the amusement park or a bad day at the amusement park is better than a great day at work. So I'm still at the amusement park. I mean, I'm not a victim in life. My life is good. I'm not at a point where I'm doing anything destructive to myself. Now, I had a destructive outburst, but I'm not going to let that define me and who I am and where I'm going as an individual. That was a moment, a snapshot, like, hey, you need to slow down and get some shit straight. But that I'm not going to let that define me. So those texts, if I'm okay, I really do appreciate them. Um, but the reality of it is, it's like this is a course in life. I mean, y'all watching a real life love story of heartbreaks and trying to be healed and then trying to restore. And I'm not going to try to predict what the story ends, but keep up on the journey. So, and I realize there's people who's checking on you. There's different categories of people who's checking on you. There's those that are sincere. They're really concerned and they love you and they understand what you're going through is hard. And believe me, I got a lot of those in my life. Those people who check on me, the Cams, the Erics, and even a surprising one. You know, that's been kind of the silver lining in the story. Like all this would get me to this point. I tell you, this most surprising thing um, is my dad. You know, he's been coming through in the clutch. You know, so stand up, man. Thanks for standing up in the fourth quarter. You know, you kind of been absent. You know, sitting on the bench for a while, but now it's time to put you in the game, and that wasn't an insult. You know, that was the kind of um, meant to give you a compliment in a weird kind of way. But he's been sending me texts and it's been very encouraging. I know when he came up to my daughter's 50th birthday party celebration, we had a few talks, and you know one of the things he shared with me is that um, his relationship with my mom, his marriage, when it got to this stage that me and my wife is at now. Now, obviously, theirs got there a lot earlier. I think I was like 4 or 5 when they got to their stage, and my wife and I, we are like 25 years into this marriage, but nevertheless, we're at that same point. But he said he responded inappropriately, meaning like when his wife wanted out, my mom wanted out, she packed up and she moved, and he was like, "Well, I'm not gonna chase you, you know. I'll go find something else, go do." And he did. He got married again, and had 2 kids, and then he got a divorce and had another relationship. But he told me he's 73 years old that he regrets not pursuing my mom. That it was his pride and it was his ego that did not allow him to humble himself to go do that. So there's a part of me in there where my pride and ego is like, man, I'm a good dude. I know I've done some messed up things, but I got some extremely good qualities about me. And part of me is like, man, go somewhere where you'll be appreciated. But the other part is me like, man, I don't want to be 73 and then reflecting back on regret. So this journey that I'm on, I'd rather go through this hurt right now for 6 months to a year to 2 years than to have regret 25 years later, 30 years later, looking back and reflecting on it and wondering if I could have restored something. So this is Operation Restoration, and there's a lot of things that I got to do in order to get better. So I'm not sure exactly what direction this video is going to go. I will start with this, and I guess that's a long intro to just be starting. But anyway, y'all along for this journey, so tune in. Hey, hold up. I got an emergency broadcasting announcement to make for you all. I'm going to back some stuff up. I just talked about being at an amusement park. And this is a public service announcement to all you bitter betties and you slick talking slams out there that's trying to get my wife away from me. I'm at an amusement park. My wife is with me. Quit trying to take her to a fucking carnival and try to get her excited about little horsies and shit like that and elephant ears. We at the fucking Disneyland. And so these little detours to this local carnival, that ain't gonna work. And public service announcement to those who send in the videos to her, whatever it may be, to watching it. My love is not a license to go out and continue to do whatever it is you're doing that's destructive. My love is encompassing. It's designed for restoration. It's not designed. My purpose of being healed is not to go back into an unhealthy environment that would damage me. So, bitter Betties and slick talking Sams, that little carnival shit, it ain't time to excite it. And then this is back to the young kings. Be careful. Be careful who you get your advice from. If they're not at a place that's better than you, and not to say that everybody you have to compare yourself, then you have to really chew the meat and spit out the bone. Receive the good and don't try to do it, take everything as gospel. So the fact that, and I'm back on track. So end of the public service announcement, and we're on this detour for good now. The fact that we've been married 25 years, a lot of people say, well, it ain't a good 25 years. Shit, what have you done for 25 years that's been good the whole time? Like, let's get real. Like this, the fact that it's not a good 25 years or whatever it may be, 25 years is 25 years. Like, if I gave you $25,000 and it was all in pennies, it's $25,000. You package that shit up and you take it to the bank and you get your $25,000. If I gave it to you in nickels, if I gave it to you in balled up dollar bills, you take that shit. That value has not been diminished. So anything that you have done for extended period of time is going to have its ups and downs. So don't leave the amusement park to go to a fucking local carnival. Now, excuse my language. I am going to work on cussing. But the reality of it is, your homework, young kings, and I want you to do this. Go talk to someone who's been in business for 25 years. Go talk to someone who's been married 25 years. Go talk to someone who's been sober 25 years. Go talk to someone who has done anything for 25 years. And ask them, has it been easy? Ask them, has it been smooth sailing and an easy road? Now, you can go talk to people who's on their third divorce and they can say, hey, I'm living my best life and this and that. I wish, and that's their moment. They may be enjoying that moment. But the reality of it is, we're in a cancel society. Like, as soon as a mistake is made, people want to say, let's cancel this. Let's not do that no more. Let's live our best life. Let's move on to the next thing. And the reality of it is that that's not a productive state. That's not a progress. You're starting over and over again. So anything that you've done for 25 years straight, it's not smooth sailing. And if it is, you're probably beneath your potential. Like, if you working at McDonald's 25 years or Burger King, then hey, you so far beneath your potential. And I'm not. There's not an indictment against essential worker. Maybe you are an essential worker, and this is your moment of fame during this COVID thing for you to say, hey, yes, I'm an essential worker. Um, but don't be celebrating that you on fries, or that you going through a carnival or something. Like, it's time to grow from that. They just came up with this bill that passed for essential workers to go to college for free. So maybe that's this whole thing happened so you can get your degree, so you can go back and get in school and elevate yourself for the next pandemic or the next crisis that come. Don't be sitting and celebrating that you had it smooth sailing and that you had it easy and you so far beneath your potential. We're so far attracted. That's where we're gonna go the rest of this video. Like, I had a friend back in the day named Bernard, and great dude, great personality. A bundle of joy. I mean, you're gonna have a laugh if you're around him. Dude was extremely athletic as well. Could run his ass off. Could run. And sometimes I'll be back on leave, and I'll go running with him, and the dude would just leave me. He would show off, just sprint out in front of me, then circle back around, catch up with me, and whatever. Just extremely. I was like, man, the thing about it, he didn't run a lot. Not like he ran track in high school. I know him since high school. It ain't like he went and ran every day and he developed it. That dude just had natural ability. And after one of our runs, he was trying to insult me. Like, man, you in the army and I'm running faster than you. Like, what you doing? And believe me, when I'm telling you I was a runner, I ran 2 miles. My fastest time was like 11 minutes and 52 seconds. It's the fastest time I ran in 2 miles. So when you say he's faster than me, I'm not saying I was slow. I'm saying this dude was like abnormally fast. Like, if I'm running at this stage, 6-minute miles, sub 6-minute miles, and this dude is still smoking me, that lets you know that I wasn't just some little scrub that couldn't run. This dude was just abnormally talented in that area. But in one of our talks, he was like, man, you in the army and I'm running faster than you? And at first, it was like, man, I should be better than this dude. I should be able to be running faster than this dude. But the reality of it is, I couldn't run faster than this dude. But we progressed into other conversation. He was like, man, real talk, the army's no place for a black man. And he kept going on how it's racist and stuff like that. And, I sat there and listened to him. And this got to be 20-something years ago, if not more. And at the time, he was an assistant manager at Burger King. So after he gave his whole little ordeal of why it was the white man's army, it was this and that, and there was no place for a black man, you know what I told him? I said, neither is Burger King. I says, Burger King's no place for a black man. I says, unemployment no place for a black man. I said, the jail's no place for a black man. So don't make it seem like it's just one profession over there and you making this indictment and judgment on there based off your perspective. Like, you're an essential worker, And the guy, this is not an indictment on him. He's a really good individual and has a great marriage. So I guess from that aspect, but he married a provider. He's a stay-at-home dad. I understand that that's not my role in life, nor do I want to be a stay-at-home dad. I don't think I could sit at home. I love my kids, but man, I need a break from the niggas at times. I don't think they even like me, but we're growing into some stuff. But that's another story in itself. But what I say, don't let people make judgment on your path in life like it's less than what they make you feel bad, like you less than a person for choosing to do something. Um, I'm not a victim. Like I said, a great day. Um, Let me rephrase that. A bad day in my life is still a great day in someone else's. I mean, I got houses, got cars, and got a beautiful family. We're in a little a rough spot right now, but I'm educated. I got opportunities. I'm still dreaming. I'm still growing. I'm still developing. Yeah, so a bad day in my life is still a great life. You know what I mean? It's like seasons. It changes, and I'm aware that it changes. So I'm sitting in this car right here, making a transition. I'm going to do a lot of rambling on these videos. So we're on this journey. Um, we're going to take our time on this, meaning that I'm not a rush to get out of this season. It's painful, it's hurtful, but I'm not in a rush. Let's learn here. We're gonna grow where we are. But I'm sitting in this car right now. It's a 2010 Tahoe, and had it for 10 plus years or so. Right when it came out is when I got it. So, but it had reached its usefulness in life at one stage. The wife was driving, the transmission went out, and all of a sudden it was just parked for almost about a year or so. And she went on and got a new car, a little Mazda, nice little car. Um, but the truck has just been sitting there. And through this ordeal, um, especially after this last hurt, I had the money to really go, just like, all right, let me go pay her the money to get a divorce lawyer, because we was already in court before, and we'll maybe come back to that. But we pulled out, and now we got to pay again. So part of me was like, man, um, if if you want to act like we're divorced, let's be divorced, and like just go pay for it. So I had the money to do it. I've been saving and doing that, and still paying both bills at both places. So in order to monitor myself and the destructiveness of myself, I like, instead of paying that 4,000 or something to go um, for this divorce, I'm gonna go repair the truck, go get a new transmission in the truck. So I went and got a new transmission put in the truck, and it was kind of symbolic too, because this truck, um, in its broken state, had ended its usefulness for our family, meaning that um, it was. I mean, we weren't planning on doing anything else. I got a car, my little Volvo and Audi, and then she has her Mazda. I mean, there was no need for us to go do that. But if I didn't do this, then I would have probably did something destructive with it, like in my marriage, give her the money just to go foul. So I wanted to add restore and bring some life back to it. So I decided to get the truck and driving around, and I realized, like, that's exactly what I need to do with my life, is invest my money in things that's going to be a blessing, not towards something of destruction. So regardless of what I've been through, I'm still married, y'all. I mean, it's not over yet, you know. So that 25 years is still going, you know. It may reach 26, 27, but until it's over, it's still going. I'm still married. So when I was running this morning on the road, I seen a car driving on a flat. You know, you know, the rim is grinding. Sparks coming up every once in a while. It's to the point where it's not just a low tire; it's flat. And I realized that flat tire in that car is me. You know, that car was driving slow, and it's thinking it just want to get home or get to a place of safety. Um, but it doesn't realize that tire's flat, and that by continue to drive on that car, not only are you going to have to get a new tire, but you're going to have to get a new rim. So I got a flat tire. It's time for me to pull over to the side of the road, jack that car up, take that tire off, and take it to the shop. Because if I keep driving right now, um, I'm going to ruin the rim, and it's going to cost me a lot more. So, and that's how it is in life. Like sometimes you got to take a break and, take a step back and realize, like, hey, if I keep going, I'm going to cause more damage. So, and that's how I am right now in this marriage. There is an element of giving my wife space, but not too much. Not, well, I guess I don't control how much I give her, but I'm gonna give her enough space to decide what she wants to do, but not enough space to let some jackalope joker come in, take her to a ride at the carnival, and give her a little teddy bear and make it seem like it's the world. Nah, I'm not gonna give her that much space. But the reality of it is, it's like I got to pull to the side of the road and get this flat tire fix or this transmission fix, because until I do that, it's going to be damaged. So, when this transmission went out, it was still driving first, but it wouldn't make that shift to second, third, or whatever. So there's some elements in my relationship where we were stuck in gear, and there needs to be a transmission. And I took it to a transmission shop, um, and one says it needs overhaul, you know, but you can either try to rebuild this part of the transmission and hope that it works, and it may be cheaper for you to do it by $1,000 or so, but there's no guarantee that if you fix this module in the transmission and that's not the issue, then you still got to go back and replace it. So you got a decision. Do you just try to go out and be cheap and fix one part and try to guess if that's it, and then if that's not it, then you got to keep doing the diagnosis to figure out what it is, and that can get expensive in itself. Or do you just replace the whole transmission? So decided to replace the whole transmission, and it's shifting well. So um, we'll continue on this journey. But I realized this morning, like in all this rambling, and if you're able to have deductive reasoning and look into some things that I'm saying, you may have to go back and watch it twice. But I just went through this process that I didn't even know about. Like the beauty of God and His infinite wisdom. Now, God didn't put me in this situation. That's my own sin, my own lust, my own adultery and stuff, and my own ways got me to this point. Like early in my marriage, I planted seeds and then I let seeds grow. Like God didn't put me here, but He knew that I would be here. So He knew that I would be here this week talking to you about this, and He knew that some of you will be following this story from the beginning. So for those who just watched my series Walking Wounded, um, God gave me an insight that He just took me through this journey. Like I just went through this experience physically what I'm about to go through relationally and spiritually. Like I injured myself bad. Like my hamstring was pulled, my calf was pulled. I couldn't walk. I couldn't hardly move. I was wobbling. I was in pain just doing stuff. And there was times where I tried to run and I couldn't. I tried to walk and it was just extremely painful. And I woke up with my leg throbbing. And I told you all through that journey, like, man, I was feeling like it was never going to be over. Will I ever be able to run again? And we went through that series of progressive small steps, walking a mile. First it was just resting, you know, just letting the muscle heal. And then we progressed to walking, just a little bit, pretty slow. And it was doing, it took me about 20 minutes to walk a mile, just kind of going slow. And then we got up to 2 miles, just walking 2 miles, 3 miles, and then 4 miles. And then all of a sudden, you know, when we got back from Oklahoma, started running. Ran 3 miles one day, came back a few days later, ran another 3 miles, and then came back later, ran another 3 miles, and now today, 7 miles. 7 miles. So, what I just went through physically, now it's time for me to go through relationally. Um, I pulled some hamstrings in this marriage, and the reality of it is, it's like what I've been in the physical is manifested in my relationship as well. Like I had hip surgery, I had knee surgery. There's been several injections in my knee just to allow me to run. I'm really not supposed to be running. If you go back and watch the Broken Yet Brilliant series, and you realize that journey, like I'm not supposed to be running. Everything's been stacked against me, telling me, hey, um, you're going to do damage to your body. But the reality of it is, I ran 7 miles this morning after all them surgeries, after that knee surgery, after all them injections, after the pulled hamstring, after not being able to barely walk, and then to having setbacks, to having more injuries and delays in the progress. I still ran 7 miles this morning. I'm gonna be okay. Like, God just took me through it. He had to give me a physical representation of what I had to go through. Now, um, and when I told you like this rehab that I was doing for the physical side, it wasn't to get back to where I was. It was better. It's to be even better. And that's the same with my relationship. It's not to get back to what it was. That was a mess. That was toxic. I'm not trying to go back to that. You know, neither do I want her to go back to that. To accept anything from that era. This is not an invitation to for me to continue in destructive patterns. That's not what this is. This is an opportunity for me to grow and learn from this. And I start smiling when I said that because when I got in this truck um, and turned on the radio, that Life Jennings came on. I put it in, I got this little um, USB with music drive that comes up through the radio. And the song that came on was Learn From This. And if you get a chance, go check that out. That Life Jennings, Learn From This. Um, and that's in essence what I got to do. It's time to learn from this. You know, it's like my whole life right now has been preparing me for this adversity. It's like I'm reflecting on some things like, and I know the video's getting long, and I'll give you this story. Um, when I was going through flight school, we had Dunker training, and in Dunker training, that's where they immersed the helicopter into water to simulate you crashing into a body of water to teach you how to maneuver and get out of the aircraft. So what they do, they go through some classes, and for those who know me, like me in the water, we don't get along unless it's the shower, the tub, or I'm on the boat outside the house. But I'm not just no average avid swimmer where I just like enjoy going out for a swim. That's not me. So I'm in Dunker school, at flight school, and what they do, they got this simulated helicopter, and they go immerse it in a pool, and they roll it around to simulate the violent motion of the aircraft rumbling and rolling as a result of it crashing into the water. And during that class, they tell you, wait for the violent motion to stop before you exit. Do not take your safety belt off. Although you may want to get out of there right away, leave your safety belt on. Wait for the violent motion to stop. And then once it clears, settle and wait for the water to fill up in the cabin. And then hold your breath. Release your seatbelt. And then escape, find your way out. And there's critical steps in there, and there's purpose behind all that, because as soon as you hit the water, there may be a violent motion going around, and if you immediately panic and you want to take your seatbelt off, you're going to be shaking around in that thing, and you could be cut, killed, or slashed by whatever may happen. The safest place is for you to be in your seat with your seatbelt on. So the key is not to get in a rush to get out of something. The other important thing to do is to wait. Don't hold your breath too early, because as you hit the water, the cabin is starting to be filled, and it's going to start filling the water from the bottom up to the top. So if you crash into the water and you start holding your breath immediately, by the time it gets to where the cabin is filled and it's time to take off your seatbelt, you are already out of breath. So you got to be able to relax and breathe as the water comes up on your knees, as it come up on your waist, as it come up. And then you wait till the water gets right about neck high. And right before, that's when you do that last minute, you hold your breath. And then you reach down and you get your seatbelt off and you navigate out. So we went through that motion. We were dunked in this pool and swirled around like 30 times. And then I remember the last time they dunk us in there, and we were so anticipating that there would be a roll right or roll left, and that we were waiting for, expecting it to roll. And the last one, they just dunk us in there straight. The water's filling up in the cabin, but there's no rolling going on, and we're just sitting in there. The water's filling up in the cabin. We're like, man, we're not rolling yet, and we're all anticipating for it to roll. And we're just sitting there, water's filling up, it's coming up to our chests, and we're like, man, we don't roll, we haven't rolled, we're expecting to roll. We're supposed to wait till the violent motion stop. And it's getting to a point where we now holding our breath and water is over our head and we're still expecting it to roll. And then finally, after the water is over our head and we're tired of holding our breath, we end up getting out of there, and just, finding our way out. And the instructor said a lot of people die expecting something to happen, expecting a violent motion to happen. He says you got to accept what it is at times and stay there, but make your assessment. So don't be anticipating this. My dad, in one of his texts, and I'm doing this work on me, for me. I'm in a win-win situation, and so is my wife. She's in a win-win situation. In one of his texts, he says, if you love, if you like expectation, then you should love disappointment. Like, I understand, and I don't expect like me doing this self work guarantees for me to be back with my wife. That's no guarantee on there. I don't have that expectation. But the reality of it is, I said we're in a win-win situation. Like, she shouldn't want to go back into that destructive, toxic behavior, just like I shouldn't want to go back into that toxic behavior either. Um, but I'm at a state in my life, like, I'm doing the work on me, for me. So even if it's not with her, I still can be whole and healthy. And she's in a win-win situation because if she's patient with me during this journey, she get a whole healthy me. But if she chooses to find something that's better than me, then she still wins. You know what I mean? Just encourage her not to go backwards. But um, we're both in win-win situation. We're both come out of this thing with gold. But as of right now, we're married. I didn't say happily married, but we're 25 years in, and we're working on 26. And until that judge says otherwise, we're in this grind together. So we'll continue this journey. I'm about to go change clothes, go shower, and my counseling session starts at 9 this morning, so I'll be in there doing that. But I wanted to get into my head before and dissect some things. And I realized, like, with this anger management thing, um, there's a flame in me. There is a flame that's burning in me. And I want to control my response management, because what happens with my response management, I know there's a flame in me, and I gotta quit allowing people to throw gas on me and on my flame, and then complain that now I didn't blew up. So I'm not gonna put out my flame. What I'm gonna do is not. I'm gonna protect my flame, and they're gonna put gas in my tank so it can fuel the fire and burn into productive stuff, as opposed to having them have access to my flame and pour it directly on the flame, and then all of a sudden I'm blowing up. So it's a difference from a controlled burn in a bonfire to a forest fire. And at times I have forest fire type anger. And reiterate, I've never put my hand on my wife in a violent way. I never beat her or anything like that. But that's no excuse or justification. I still tore up some things in that house, and I will get a better response to things. But, Kings, I'll close on this, and this is a long video. Control your response. Control your response. Because what you don't want to happen, and what's happening to me, is like everybody is blaming me or coming at me for my response. My response now, it becomes the main event. And my response sometimes be so aggressive that nobody really remembers or want to talk about what I'm responding to. So I'm about to control my response. I'm about to set conditions and standard in my life. and have a better response management so I can be more productive in life. And I challenge you to do the same. But young kings, don't forget your homework today. Go talk to somebody who's been doing something for 25 years and ask them, has it been easy? And the answer will be no. I mean, I gave you the answer, but I still expect you to go do your homework. Have a great day, young kings.